How can you forecast your sales effectively? Hey, Rob Spence here, the Managing Director of Paragon Sales Solutions. Actually, conveniently, our logo is just here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another of our videos. Every single week, we put out a useful hints, tips, and advice video to do with everything sales, marketing, and business growth. If you know me well, or you're starting to get to know me, you'll know I'm a massive sales nerd. And I'm hoping in these videos you can get all that you can to help grow and increase your sales. And this video is no different. We are looking at sales forecasting. And this video, I guess, will be aimed not just at salespeople, sales managers and sales directors, but also at business owners, because I think that sales forecasting is important, but it's a step that business owners sometimes overlook, they don't think about. And in this video, just some simple hints and tips. I've got about five useful hints and tips as to how you can use sales forecasting conveniently. Before we do go on though, please hit that subscribe button, hit the follow button, drop us a like, send a comment below. Just comment the word forecast. I'd love to know who's watching these videos. So thank you very much for taking the time, and I hope you get a lot from it. So forecasting as a whole fundamentally is understanding where your sales are ups, where they're downs, what you can expect during certain periods, and where your next sale is going to come from. There's probably a bit more of an in-depth way of looking at it, but for this video, we'll kind of roll through that. It'll allow you to predict your future and understand where your business is throughout either the year, the quarter, or wherever it may be. And in this video, we've got these 5 tips, and we're going to start off with there's no forecasting without data. If you've watched any of these other videos, you'll know that I constantly go on about data. Data is key when it comes to marketing, sales, and business. We need to know our numbers, we need to know what's going on. So make sure you keep a track of all of your finances. Of course, I'm sure your accountant will have access to these, or your bookkeeper will, but make sure you've got them at hand at all times. A good CRM system will do this, or of course an Excel spreadsheet in the grand scheme of things. If you do need a good CRM system, send us a message on here. I'll send you a link to a great, effective CRM system that truly does work. Once we've got all the data coming into play, and once we've got it held, we need to analyze that historical data. Now, a simple glance back at various reports will tell you the dips, the highs, the lows, and the averages. Analyze it, understand where those highs are, where those lows are. Every business will have ups and downs. It's very surprising if you're very, very consistently across the level. You know, for us here, naturally, our sort of quieter periods of sort of the December and January kind of period, and then it ramps up towards the summer. There's a slight drop off, nothing major, sort of around the August, September time. Big ramp up for sort of towards the end of November, and then a slight drop again. So we know where our dips and curves are, but we only know that by collating the data and analysing it. Once we've analysed that data, we can then establish those baselines and use those baselines to set our targets. Those baselines, you can see on average where those sales are sitting. Let's just say, for simple math's sake, they're sitting at £10,000 every June. We know that will need to be our baseline, and we can set our targets based on this. Now, sales targets we can talk about for a very, very long time. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you stick in an extra 10% on there, your target suddenly becomes £11,000. Quick maths, Robert. But we then know where our baselines are. Now, the key thing is here is to communicate that well with all of your team, whether they're sales, customer service, operations. They need to be well communicated. Of course, forecasting does have to take into account the market conditions as well. It's always important to monitor what's going on in the market situations, whether there's a cost of living crisis, a food price hike, whatever it is. We've got to monitor what's going on. For me, I'm an optimist. I don't always say don't worry too much about it. There's not a lot you can change. You can still sell, but bear in mind, if you're expecting a high turnout for June for your pub's beer garden, and we're forecast monsoon rain for 2 months, we're not going to see a summer until September, you know that there's going to be change. And that then, I guess, takes us then on to our step number 5, which is to keep adjusting. Don't always think, and don't get so hung up that, look, this is what we've always done, this is how it's always got to be. Things change, people's buying habits change. Look at what ran out. Loads of things have run out in supermarkets over the past couple of weeks, years and months. You look at toilet roll. I think bottled water vanished for a while because everyone was panic buying. There are things that go on that you just can't control. So although it's very important to have this forecast and to understand where our next sale is coming from, don't stress. things are going to be okay. Trust me. Trust Robert. They're all going to be all right. But look, there's 5 simple tips as to how you can forecast your sales effectively as a business owner. We could go into more in depth on this, and if you do want to go more in depth into sales forecasting, drop me a message. Head on over to paragonsalessolutions.co.uk, book in for a free consultation. I'm always on hand to help and support. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. All the best.